Dixon.
We have a very shallow committee tonight. We don't have much going on. It's recommended that the council approve the budget amendment to the small capital project budget ordinance for the final design of the parallel taxiway as presented that we talked about in length at our last meeting. So I'll put that in form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? Motion carried. Let's see, next is our new business, and I'll call on Anne Marie to review that.
Thank you, Mayor. So we're pleased, thanks to the great work that Elizabeth has done and Hood's law firm in closing the sale of 304 East Church Street to Down East Preservation. And so we have received the funds, and Virginia Smith, Finance Officer, has prepared a budget amendment to reflect the proceeds of those funds, and recommend that you adopt that budget ordinance as presented.
So moved, Mayor.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And Mayor, the second budget amendment is from proceeds from the sale of the other recent property in the redevelopment zone, 136 East Albemarle Street. And Virginia has prepared a similar budget ordinance for you to consider adopting tonight as well.
Okay.
So moved.
We have a motion, and now need a second.
So
We have a motion and a second, all those, any further discussion?
I just think it's awesome. I mean, it's just so great with
Yeah,
them.
it is.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Oh, support.
Okay, the next item is another budget amendment. This is a little bit unusual. We're asking that the council approve setting up an appropriation. You would be taking funds out of reserve, out of fund balance, but that's what savings accounts are for, to use for unanticipated projects, and transfer those funds to the airport funds to help pay for improvements that are needed to our existing maintenance hangar at the airport. The person who has been operating an aircraft repair business at the airport, that lease is due to expire the end of this month, and looking to recruit another business to occupy that space. But there are a number of improvements that are needed, including a new flooring to protect the mechanic, something to do with aircrafts, making sure that the floor is nice and shiny and doesn't absorb any fluids or anything like that. Then also it does need some heating system, and we're fortunate that Piedmont Natural Gas is getting ready to expand, and they can run the gas for a special heater that won't keep the maintenance shop nice and toasty and warm, but during the winter months it will prevent anything from freezing. And then the third improvement has to do with some upgrades to lighting. And all of those improvements are estimated to cost about $18,000. And I recommend that, and we'll set this up so that when the hangar is leased to a new entity, that for 36 months, the rent will come back to the general fund. So it will be, the loan will be paid off. And I think it's important if we, to document that and to show that in case we are going up to the LGC, probably in, another year or so for loan improvement, debt improvements for us, but they're always concerned about the airport, and they want to make sure that it's viable. And we have said that economic development at the airport is taking a long time, and it is viable, but these investments are needed, and I think they'll look kindly on us being responsible and identifying a way to repay the loan back to the general fund.
And also, if I may, Mayor Stalin, sitting on the Airport Commission as a council's representative on that commission. As I understand it, Ms. Knight, the improvements to the maintenance hangar will make us more competitive in attracting a top-notch mechanic, and that could also lead to more revenue coming from our maintenance work and mechanic work. So,
And more fuel sales and more attraction to the more aviation activity to the airport.
that's correct. Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mayor, the next item is adoption of a capital projects budget ordinance, and we talked about this at your last meeting. You know, that the General Assembly authorized counties to distribute a certain percentage of the Corona Federal CARES Act funding to municipalities, and our share is $186,866, and Virginia has prepared a budget ordinance showing that those funds, where they will be received, and then what our breakdown is that you reviewed at the last meeting of how those funds will be spent.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Mayor.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, Mayor, the last item under new business is another budget amendment for an unanticipated capital expense. Some of you may have noticed that the railings, a portion of the railings around the Elizabeth Van Moore Park on Queen Anne Creek off of East Water Street failed due to age. And so Corey Gooden, our Public Works Director, with assistance from Bud Powell, our wonderful purchasing agent, have been soliciting proposals from contractors to replace all of the railing, to add new railing. I'm working with Elizabeth Bryant on making sure that we go through the proper procedures with the Historic Preservation Commission.
How many feet were we looking at as far as railing? Quite a few, right?
I don't have the drawings with me. I can get you that.
And will the railing be a different,
It will be a little bit of a different design. It's still gonna be made of wood, but because of changes to, what is that, building code? Changes to building code over the years, the new railing will meet code and hopefully be safer. We've never had any problems with any, child ever, crawling through the railings, but the new design will
And
be.
don't want any.
That's the truth.
no paperwork?
Well, I noticed it would be family friendly. What's family friendly railing?
So that the moms and the dads can relax and not worry that their child is gonna
Okay.
slip through the,
Yeah.
through the railing.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Wire,
So moved.
barbed wire.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Having none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, now we're at the point in our meeting where for items considered timely and important, anybody up here have something they want to bring before the council tonight?
Just one, Mayor. This is regarding the group hub. Has Mr. Glover or his group come forward and started talking about a timeline when his team will bring the architectural drawings to the Historic Preservation Commission for review. Is there anything to talk about?
Well, after you all approved the changes to the exterior, southern end of the building, then the Preservation Commission recently approved those changes as well. The architect was here for another project, and we asked him, and he said that they were grateful to have those design changes approved so that they can begin trying to finalize the interior layout. We still need to work with Mr. Glover and get him on the Board of Adjustment meeting to get that variance.
Appreciate it.
Do we have any timeline as to when he intends to be completed and opening? Is that a bad question?
No, it's not a bad question. We get asked that
Everybody wants to
question a
know.
lot. I do know that he's looking for an operator, and I think that is really important as to make sure that he has, the right person that fits, his business model. And then just, the architect has told me in the past, not on his most recent visit here, but to finalize the interior design and then work on the exterior changes that are going to be wanted for the outdoor dining, to install the fencing, to address, the neighbors' concerns, for all that is going to take a while. I would imagine that would be at least a 6-month process.
Just curious.
And I did have a question. Have we heard any sort of update on that sunken boat there at Edenton Marina, as to any progress that might be made with that? And the only question that I asked, I was out of town late last week, but one of our citizens had sent me some information that there may be some grant funds available to assist the owner and therefore assist the town. And I'll take a closer look at that, Ms. Knight, and get that to you. But is any update at all that we've heard from the owner of that boat?
I have not. I rode by there the other day and made a mental note to reach out to Scotty, and I'll do that. I'll give you an update.
I make a mental note often.
They have got a pump on the boat.
Yeah, they leave that thing
They
there.
leave that, that's been there for at least
But it hadn't done much
36
good.
days.
And I have a question. Have we made any headway on directing, the ability to direct funds from the sale of the city-owned homes to the Cadiz Restoration Project? I know you wanted to get started in September, and
We got a meeting tomorrow, so.
okay. And I know we've got Hood here, and we were looking maybe to Hood to give us an answer. What do you think?
I need to reach out to Hood and get his guidance on that. And I'll do that.
Commissioner Cole, that you're out there off Martin Luther King's Avenue. He called me last week concerning people walking from that area, Martin Luther King, going through that street and going to the dollar store. There's no sidewalk there. He called me about sidewalk. I suggested he call his councilman, but whoever that is. But he said a lot of people is walking through there, to walk in the street because there ain't no sidewalk there.
So we have heard that request previously, and the Public Works Director was working on trying to get a couple proposals to see what the cost would be to add a sidewalk. So I'll check in with Corey on that, because I know that we've heard that, especially now that that road has been repaved, a sidewalk might be a nice traffic calming feature.
And where is that at, Evelyn?
Tweedy
Well,
Avenue.
I suggest that his councilman call him and tell him.
Anyone else have anything to bring before us? Tammy, do we have anybody out on the outside that wants to, for public comment?
I know.
You have a date?
No, yeah.
Mine was for dinner.
Oh, my Lord.
So I haven't eaten dinner yet.
I haven't eaten.
What do you think
So
about
meeting
voting
tomorrow
on that?
night.
I'm sorry?
There's nothing tomorrow.
I know.
Tomorrow night.
Nothing.
I was not surprised,
Yeah.
just.
All right, that completes our agenda then. Have a motion to
We got
adjourn.
rid of you.
Yeah, move.
Yeah.
Second, got a motion
Give me a call.
to adjourn.
But